Entertainment Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 6, and my thoughts on this episode. Interesting episode. I did enjoy parts of it. I thought the story as a whole was good. Some problems, annoying scenes, the side stories I could literally do without. Certain characters like Pella, I honestly, I could really just do without that old woman. I really could. No more. I can't stand her. Every time she's on the screen, I just want to just turn away. I think I'm literally just done with that character. She is just so fucking annoying. But yeah, this episode was probably the best episode of the season so far. I know some people might be shocked at me saying that, but it was an interesting episode with finding out about something in a nebula, and I'll go into more in the spoiler section, but I thought it was interesting. And I thought it was kind of good to go back to normal Star Trek when we're finding out about new things and stuff. You know, not focusing on stupid political crap or the fact that the writers need to say the Starfleet's racist. This episode, whoever writ it, seems to like the fucking Federation. Because they get a little bit of a praise in this episode. And I liked that. But we do have to again talk about the bad, because unfortunately it is Strange New Worlds, and unfortunately we can't just get a perfectly good Star Trek episode. There has to be little shit bits. So the shit bits, it's the Kirk thing, okay? I know some people are going to say, listen, he's the actor they chose, deal with it. I literally can't deal with it. I seriously can't. It's the worst casting for me. He looks nothing like William Shatner in any way. He doesn't act like Captain Kirk. He doesn't look like him. I mean, it's really off-putting, man. It's like, how I'm supposed to believe this is going to be the guy that's going to be going to the original series. I'm supposed to believe that, even though they look nothing alike. I mean, yes, the woman who's playing Uhura doesn't really look like Uhura. I get that. The hair is kind of also annoying. But it's not exactly like it's, you know, massively a wrong casting with the Uhura actress. Yes, they don't look exactly alike. Well, they actually don't really look alike at all. But I think the actress herself, I think she does a great job. In this episode, she shows how good she is. And I do like the character. I mean, I do like the actress. And I do love the character Uhura. So she's done a lot of work to kind of get a lot of praise from me. But the guy playing Kirk, there's not really anything there. He's not in Strange New Worlds enough for me to get to know him. And he just doesn't feel like Kirk to me in any way. There's nothing I can point to. I mean, in this episode, which has to be the longest period this guy has been in an episode, other than I think the last season's episode. And again, I'm just watching a guy who they keep calling Kirk, but I still can't see it. So that is a massive, well, it's just stupid to me. I mean, it's just a massive problem for the show going forward, in my opinion. And yeah, side stories. Don't need them. Don't care about them. I was interested in the main story. Could we stop with the side stories? Because, again, this is not original Star Trek. Star Trek, the original stuff, could actually do that. Do the main story and side stories. You lot keep struggling with the main story. Just focus on the main story. Please. So, let's get to the spoilers. But what am I going to give this episode out of 10? I can't go higher than a 6. You know, there's still problems. I'm still kind of pissed off from last week's episode. Oh! I forgot one other fucking stupid and, well, annoying scene. The Spock chapel shit. I don't care. I honestly do not care. Please stop fucking doing this. Stop stopping the episode to focus on these two. I don't fucking care. Anyway, so 6 out of 10. It's a good episode. Best of the season so far in my opinion. And let's get into spoilers. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So, the episode starts off with Uhura explaining the whole situation of where the Enterprise is. The Enterprise is on the edge of known space, protecting a refinery that's just been built to mine deuterium. And the Enterprise is also with the Farragut, I think. So, yeah, they're on a protection mission to protect the refinery and to help repairs because apparently something keeps going wrong on this station, that it keeps getting malfunctions, systems keep breaking, so the Enterprise and Farragut have been sent to protect it, but also have been told to send over repair teams to help with the construction and the repairs of the station. And we also find out that Pike has been made fleet captain, so he's in charge of both ships. Okay. But we also find out that apparently, and this annoyed me, okay, we're on the edge of Gorn space. Bloody hell. All the species you could have chose to do this fucking nonsense Cold War shit with. I mean, the fucking Klingons are right there. I know you have completely fucked that storyline because of Discovery, but you cannot keep bringing the Gorn in like this. Because, again, they keep saying this. I mean, apparently there's been some shit about this show not being in real canon, and even the writers or something have said it's in the Kelvin universe, you know, JJ's universe. Okay, well, they're going to have to explain that and make that actual, you know, statement out there from Star Trek for me to believe that's true. Because every time they bring up the Gorn, I'm reminded of Kirk's first dealing with the fucking Gorn, and the fact that they don't know what this species is. And if some arsehole says, well, maybe they did the Discovery crap and just said everybody's been told to keep it classified. Bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. You can't fucking do that if everybody seems to fucking know about the Gorn at this point. I'm sorry, it's just ridiculous. And this just damages Star Trek canon. And I know I've said this episode is the best so far, and I'm saying that about the main story. This is just a one sentence in the episode, but it's still a big thing to say. It's still something that damages Star Trek. Again, you don't have to do this. You could say this is not in this real Star Trek lore and do your own thing. I would have more respect for the writers, for, you know, Kurtzman, if he just did that and just accepts that this shit is not in real Star Trek canon and they want to make their own thing. I'd respect that. But they just don't want to do that because they know if they ever did that, we Star Trek fans would probably never come back to this shit. And that's just fact. Anyway, that was a bit too long, but yeah, I'd say it. Anyway, so that's what the Enterprise is doing there. And then we go over to Uhura, and she starts hearing things. Oh, one other thing about the refinery. Apparently, it's also on the edge of, you know, known space, and this refinery is going to help Starfleet send out ships further to, you know, do more exploring. So they can go deeper and deeper into space without having to come back all the way back to Starfleet. Anyway, So yeah, Uhura starts hearing things. She then tells Pike about it. Pike asks to hear what she heard, but there's nothing there. So Uhura gets sent down to sick bay to see the doctor because Pike thinks she's been overworked. So she heads there, but then she starts hearing things again. And then we get the scene where Hammers reappears and, well, he looks a bit he looks dead. So it's kind of good seeing Hammers back in this episode. I do kind of miss the guy. He was a kind of good character. The only really good character from season 1, if I'm being honest. So yeah, she starts seeing dead corpse of him, and well, when she gets down to the med bay and tells the doctor about it, he just says, well, you're probably just seeing things because you probably took in some deuterium, like not, refined, and it kind of fucks up your body or your mind when that sort of thing happens. I did forget the scene between Uhura and Pelia, whatever the fuck that bitch's name is. So Uhura is fixing something, I think in the engine room or somewhere close to the engine room. Pelia comes in and Uhura explains to her how, she's been able to fix things. Hammers left some recordings of himself to help her deal with, engineering things. And we get reminded of how close Uhura and Hammers used to be with each other. And I thought that was kind of a nice scene. But then Pelia brings up the fact that Uhura has never really spoken to her. She's kind of been standoffish. And we find out in this episode, most of the crew are kind of standoffish with her because of the whole replacing Hammers stuff. Okay, I don't really care. I might just try to get through the Pelia crap just quick because, I just don't care about the woman. I really don't. I don't like the character. I hope she's gone soon. So, what she does in this entire episode is moan, talk about herself, say how good she is at everything, remind us that she was a fucking engineer, professor, and piss off Una. And we then find out Una also has been standoffish with her because Una also misses Hammers. I can't really do that because I have to explain, but that's basically what Pelia did in this episode. So, Uhura goes down to the medbay. Doctor gives her a clean bit of health, but says you've been working too hard and you need to take some time off. You need to also sleep because it looks like you haven't been sleeping. So, doctor's orders, you don't go to work for a couple of days. So, Uhura goes back to her room and, tries to get some sleep. The next scene is Commander Kirk beaming aboard the Enterprise from the Farragut and meeting up with his brother. And his brother, congratulates him on becoming the youngest officer in Starfleet. And James Kirk, he thanks his brother. They go have a drink with each other, and we get this ridiculous scene where the brother is completely jealous of Kirk. Okay, I mean, I get it. Their dad, he's Starfleet, and the younger brother, I think Kirk's other brother is. James T. Kirk's brother is younger. Oh no, is he older? I don't know. Sorry, I don't. So, James Kirk's brother is pissed off that he got a promotion. And Sam, that's his name. Sorry, I forgot it. So, Sam's basically pissed off his brother. James Kirk has got a promotion, and his dad's going to see that it's more of an achievement than what he has done. Like, I get it. I have brothers myself. I have 3 of them. And do we get very kind of, competitive with each other? Of course you do. That's what that's what men are like with each other. I get it. But, I don't know. This kind of felt like a bitch scene. Like, oh my god, you're doing so good. How dare you? It's like, dude, dude, nobody forced you to be a fucking, you know, science guy in Starfleet. You could have gone the command way. But if that's what you want to do, why the fuck do you care so much? Again, I mean, if you want to, you know, get a promotion, do a better job. Don't get annoyed because your brother is doing better than you are. Just get on with it. Maybe see this as a goal. You know, James Kirk made Commander. Maybe you could make some sort of massive discovery. Like, Jesus. I just didn't like this scene. It kind of really just felt like he's acting like a bitch. And this all happens in the bar area of the Enterprise. I should also talk about the fact, the big problem with the Enterprise for me, it looks too big. It does. It looks too big to be, well, this kind of ship. Again, it looks like a Galaxy class in the inside. Like, the hallways are too big. The areas are just too big to be, you know, the original, not the original, to be a Constitution class ship. So, you know, that's a little bit of a problem for me. Anyway, whilst James and Sam are in the bar, well, whilst Sam's bitching in the bar with James, Kirk, we have to deal with the stupid Spock Chaplin crap. Spock wants to go, you know, public with their relationship, because apparently now they're in a relationship, or that's what he thinks. So you want to break with your, you know, fiance Spock. You want to kind of slow it the fuck down. So are you just writing that relationship off? I mean, we know you're not doing that because we're the fucking thing, because of the original series, but I mean, I just don't get it. But apparently he wants to go public. She doesn't want to go public because she wants to do a Schrodinger's cat thing or something. Listen, I don't really pay attention, okay? They're in a relationship now. Kirk wants to go public. She doesn't, so they decide not to go public. Okay. I just don't care. I just don't. So Uhura can't sleep in her room, so she heads down to the bar to talk to Spock. Spock tries to explain to Spock what's happened to her. He says, well, you're probably just dealing with some stuff and, you know, just listen to the doctor. And Chapel says the same basic thing. So Uhura just heads to the bar area to get a drink, where we have this annoying scene where she keeps telling Kirk to stop hitting on her. Okay. Even though Kirk only asked, are you okay? You know, not everything is a hit on you girls. I'm just saying this, okay? Not every word that comes out of our fucking mouths is, do you want to sleep with me? It's just annoying at this point. It really is. Because this has literally happened to me. I'm in a bar, a girl looks unhappy, I say, are you okay? Stop hitting on me. It's like, you look sad, I see you look sad, I'm just asking if you're okay. That is all I've done. Could you calm the fuck down? I always didn't say it to her, I just walked away because, again, I'm not dealing with that shit. But come on, ladies. Not every word out of our mouths is, would you fuck me? So, Uhura's kind of not bothered with Kirk, even though they're supposed to be the greatest of friends soon, and they're going to have the most important kiss in TV history. But this scene between them, I just don't like it. I just don't. Again, this is their first meeting with each other. They're going to become the closest of friends. It kind of should be a bigger, better scene, in my opinion. But anyway, so Uhura starts hearing noises again. She leaves the bar. She gets on the elevator, gets off, and then starts seeing a shitload of dead bodies. And then she sees herself, and she's got a knife, and then the fake Uhura starts to attack her, and when she goes to punch the fake Uhura, it turns out to be James Kirk. Now, I kind of thought this was funny when, you know, she realises it's Kirk, and Kirk says, I'm not hitting on you. I thought it was funny. I admit that. It was funny to me. So, after, you know, she realises she's hit Kirk, she says, sorry, let's get you to the med bay, and Kirk's like, no, listen, I'm fine, let's just go back to your room get a regenerator, and figure out what's happened to you. Which I kind of like. I kind of think a little bit acting like Kirk. A little bit. Problem is, to me, jokes. He's trying to make things too comical. And yes, Kirk did try to make jokes a bit. But when a situation was serious, you kind of saw Kirk turn into the serious captain. Not the captain needs to tell jokes every 5 minutes, which this Kirk seems to do. I don't know why. Oh, I know why, the writers. Because they need to be J.J. Abrams and they need to put a joke in every fucking scene. So they go back to the room. Kirk starts to ask her questions about what's happened to her. And she starts to kind of think she's losing her mind and all that stuff. But Kirk says, listen, we'll help you through this. Let me take your medical records to my doctor on the Farragut, and she will try to figure out what's wrong with you as well. We then go to the refinery where Una is, head of the repair work, and she is working with Pella. Yeah, I kind of have to go through Pella's, don't I? Because it's kind of important to the story. But anyway, so Pella keeps bringing up the fact they can't keep fixing these systems because there's something obviously going wrong. There's obviously something other than just systems breaking down because of the amount of systems breaking down. So she wants to go, investigate this, but Una pretty much says, or is it Una or Anna? I don't really care. Una pretty much says, nope, just concentrate on fixing the system so we can get the refinery operational and start mining deuterium. But we all know what's going to happen here because we all know what Pelia's like. She pretty much disobeys her, and well, when she does an investigation on one of the systems that hasn't been broken, she finds sabotage. And well, then when they go looking for the saboteur, turns out to be a Starfleet officer who's lost his mind, or basically dealing with what Uhura's dealing with. My problem with this scene is with Una. I mean, the systems keep breaking down and Pelia wants to go do an investigation on it, but you just want to focus on just fixing the systems. Why can't you do both? I know you're in a rush to get this station operational. I get that. But if you're going to just keep finding problem after problem and not try to find a solution other than just fixing a problem it just doesn't make sense. Let Pelia go and do the investigation. Why are you so fixated on this? Just let her do it on her own if you want. I don't know, it just felt stupid. Again, it was obvious the sabotage. Obvious. Straight the first one. Anyway. So they find the saboteur, send him back to the Enterprise. Doctor does a scan of him and they pretty much realise, yep, he's going through what Uhura is going through, but he's dealing with the later effects because he was he was infected first. So he's had more time dealing with this. And whilst they're in the med bay dealing with him, and Uhura's kind of shitting herself now because she's pretty much seeing her future, the saboteur goes crazy, grabs, I think, a knife, and cuts the doctor, legs out of the room, where you have the worst security officer who seems to miss him point blank range. I don't fucking care. That is an impossible shot to miss, even if you're surprised. I mean, come on. The first shot, fine, you missed. The second shot, you should get him in that time. That's ridiculous. Anyway, the saboteur goes nuts, runs for it. Pike and the security officer chase him. They lose him. And he then does some more saboteur work, turns off the lights. And then Pike and the security officer find a crewman who has been seriously injured by the saboteur. And Pike leaves the security officer with her and takes Leanne, who also turns up in this episode. Really short she's in. I mean, barely in the episode. Kind of pointless having her in, but they want to have her have the whole meeting with Kirk again. I get it. So La'an and Pike go after the Saboteur, and so does Kirk and Uhura, and then Uhura starts seeing things again. But Uhura says she's fine when Kirk tries to say, "Are you okay?" After she starts seeing things, but Uhura says she's fine. They split up. Uhura goes out on her own, and then bumps into the Saboteur, who's doing more saboteuring. When Uhura tries to talk him down, tries to get through to him, he's still kind of batshit crazy, and well, Uhura then tries to restrain him, stop him from, destroying the ship, but it's too late, and Kirk manages to arrive just in time to grab Uhura and beam them out before the Saboteur destroys part of the Enterprise's nacelle, which he does. And then we get this kind of good CGI scene of the officer being pulled out of the nacelle and kind of freezing and burning to death, which I liked. The CGI, that's what I'm saying. Anyway. But, the next scene, we're back in the sick bay, where Pike pretty much has to remind us of the situation. 2 crewmen dead, because the woman who got attacked by the Saboteur dies. So, 2 crewmen dead, the doctor in surgery dealing with a cut on his face, and the Enterprise's nacelle needs serious repair work. But they are not too damaged, apparently. And Uhura kind of has to bring up the fact what he went through is what she's going through now, and that she should be, well, refined to quarters. Pike says no, even though I kind of think that's a stupid idea, keeping her walking about. I mean, she has got the same issue, and this guy literally just killed a person. Not saying you had to lock up Uhura, but I would keep a couple of security guys around her, just in case. I'm not saying you had to keep her in a cell or anything, just saying, keep an eye on her at least. But Pike says, no, you're going to keep doing your work, try to figure out what's going on, and we'll just focus on getting the refinery up and running. Then in the next scene, we get the La'an Kirk thing. So La'an talks to Kirk, Kirk talks to La'an. Nothing really much happens here, but you see La'an is, has the hots for Kirk and loves him or likes him, whatever. And Kirk's kind of a bit befuddled about this, like, we haven't really met each other, but apparently you're finishing my sentences and all that shit. So, okay. I mean, it could have been a better scene. That's what I'm saying. But, yeah. La'an says, are you okay? He says he's fine. They talk about, and this is one of the credits I'll give to the episode. They talk about what Starfleet is and how Kirk kind of learnt what Starfleet was through his father. Because his father was in Starfleet and they had to be dragged around everywhere because it was his mission. If you're a military person who's been in the military family, you understand what Kirk's going through, base to base, different place here, different place there, and you do start to wonder, does your father love the job more than he loves you? But Kirk's mother explained to Kirk, your father loves you, but he wants to help more people, and that's what Starfleet is. Starfleet helps people that you don't know or never met, and Kirk kind of sees that as a very good thing in life. Don't just help people you know, help people you don't know. And again, that's what Starfleet used to be about. It was about the best of humanity, the best humanity could be. Unfortunately, it's not what fucking Kurtzman thinks it is, but there you go. But I like this scene between them. And I loved how La'an reminded us of how she was rescued by Starfleet. And again, I think that's a very good scene. You don't have to keep, putting Starfleet down, writers. Stop saying they're racist. Starfleet used to be the beacon of what humanity could be one day. That's why a lot of people liked it. You don't have to keep trying to have us in your depressing shit world, SJWs. Not everybody's depressed. Not everybody is such an arsehole. You can actually have friends and have opportunities and have a life. Not on, Twitter being a bitch. SJW's waste of life sometimes. Anyway, so La'an leaves Kirk and says, see you later and all that shit. The next scene is Pelia and Una fighting with each other. I do not care. I'm moving on. Next scene, Uhura and Kirk go through the Saboteur's logs, seeing that he did kind of go and said a couple of days ago. He started seeing things, especially dead friends of his, which matches Uhura. And Uhura then kind of realizes, I'm running out of time before I go as crazy as he did. But Kirk tries to remind her, listen, we're going to help you through this. There's got to be a scientific thing about this. We are going to fix this. And then we get this quite great scene where we kind of see Uhura kind of being, a human being, fearing death, not being able to face that fact of life. I really did like this scene, how she's never really faced her parents and her family's death, how she was never able to accept, Hammer's death. And this makes Uhura look so much more human. Not every character has to be strong every time. They can have a time when they are at their weakest point. And you see that in this episode, and I fucking loved it. And that's what makes the actress who plays Uhura more, interesting to me. I don't just want to see a SJW fucking, Mary Sue bitch. I want to see a human being on the screen. Someone that I can look and say, that's like me. I deal with shit like that. And Uhura dealing with death, everybody knows what that feeling is like. Because it's going to come for us one day. It's just a fact. And most humans, we know it's there, but we sometimes just, deny it. We say it's never going to happen, or never going to happen for a long time. But it's still there, and it's still something we have to, accept. And seeing Uhura just accept this, and see the fact that she, opens up about, her family and stuff, that's a great scene. It doesn't need to be battle scenes or stupid fucking jokes. It could just be a serious, small moment. That is a great scene. And that's what this was. Sorry. Just wanted to get it off my chest. So Kirk leaves Uhura to go get a cookie. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to go into the whole jokey shit stuff about what... Again, I just didn't like that part about Kirk. Anyway, so Kirk leaves Uhura. Uhura watches some old clips of Hammers, and we see how much she misses him, because she really tears up about it. But then she figures out, through looking at the brain scans and watching the Hammer video, that the hallucinations, they're not hallucinations. At least, not what we would describe as hallucinations. And this is probably the best part of the episode. So Uhura's kind of figured out that somebody is communicating with her. But because of the universal translator and the fact the people communicating with her don't use speech like we do, the only way that they can communicate to Uhura and the Saboteur was through pictures. Again, fucking interesting. Finding new fucking life, finding a new way to talk to people. You know what Star Trek used to be? Fucking hell. And this was just great. And you see, she goes to Pike and explains the whole situation and says, or was it Pike? No, she goes to Sam and explains everything. And Sam pretty much says, yeah, pretty much this is somebody trying to communicate with you. And we need to stop the captain, basically. Or stop what's happening on the refinery. Because Uhura is able to translate the images of, the dead people, the attacks and all that, to the species is reaching out to tell Uhura that the refinery is killing their people, their loved ones, and they need to stop. So Sam pretty much says, yeah, that's pretty much it, and we got to go tell the captain. Or at least Uhura says we got to go tell the captain. So Uhura and Kirk run up to the bridge. to tell Pike what's going on. Pike, who's been sent there to protect the station, Uhura tells him that he needs to stop the refinery. The refinery will never, is killing people, and if they don't stop it, what's the point of going out to search for new life if we're just going to kill it? Which was an actually good statement from Uhura. And I thought, yeah, like, if you're killing people, you kind of need to stop doing that. So Pike's, a bit confused, but he trusts Uhura, so he says, okay, we'll turn off the refinery. But unfortunately, they can't turn off the refinery because they fixed it, and to turn it off is going to take time, and whilst in that time they're refining the ore, or the deuterium, they're killing a lot of people, a lot of this new species. So Uhura says then the only option we have is to destroy the refinery. So Pike, hesitant at first, but he understands, okay, if they are hurting people, then the refinery needs to go. And Uhura says fire torpedoes, and Pike nods, and the Enterprise fires a shitload of torpedoes at the refinery after evacuating the refinery of all, Federation personnel. I should have said that. And I like the scene. I thought it was a great scene to see, Enterprise firing torpedoes. Who doesn't like seeing that scene? They fire the torpedoes, blow up the refinery, and save the alien species in the nebula. And Uhura gets a final message from the aliens, where we see Hammers, as a normal person again. Pretty much telling Uhura they have done the right thing. And the final scene is Uhura and Kirk pretty much pat each other on the back. Job well done. Pike's going to have to explain about the refinery being destroyed, but I think the Federation will be fine. If they were hurting people, I don't think the Federation would mind. It is going to be a big problem for them in the future, but again, it is Starfleet, and Starfleet are good people at the end of the day. And the final scene is, Kirk, Uhura pat each other on the back. Sam trying to be, I don't know what this was, but Sam came up and says, congratulations, James, on getting the promotion. I'm proud of you. And then when Kirk's supposed to reciprocate or something, Sam acts like a little bitch and walks off. Don't know why. I don't know. But then the final scene is the meeting, and this kind of pissed me off because again it should be a bigger scene. The meeting between Kirk and Spock. Yeah. That should have been bigger, that should have been better, that should have been something. And it felt like nothing. And we just leave with Kirk and Spock talking to each other, and the episode ends. It's still a 6 out of 10. I still enjoyed the episode. I think, again, when Star Trek just concentrates on new species, tells us that type of stuff, then Star Trek is at its best. It don't have to be political. I know some people are going to say, oh, isn't this about like drilling or, some, Extinction Rebellion bullshit. I know some people are going to point to that, but I'm just interested in the story, okay? You can point it out and say it's probably a political thing. Yeah, but the episode's enjoyable. I liked finding out about this species. I liked the fact that they communicated through, images. That's interesting to me. So I give the episode credit for that. And yeah, it's a 6 out of 10 for me. And I like the episode. So that's the end of my review. Can't wait for next week's episode because we're getting it. We're getting the crossover episode. We're going to get Boimler and Mariner. Oh, my God. So we get a good episode, and now we're going to get a shit episode. Come on. I know some people are going to say, you don't know that yet. We do. We all do. Let's be honest. And we know what this episode's truly about. It's nothing to do with the episode. It's nothing to do with just have a crossover scene. This is a test. This is a test to see, can you put Boimler and Mariner in a live action Star Trek show? Are we going to get Lower Decks live action? Let's not pretend that this is nothing other than that. Okay? That is what it is. But we'll find out next week. And that's the end of the video. If you like the video, give it a like. If you dislike the video, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think about subscribing. And if you have a comment, I will get back to it as soon as I can. Entertainment World Soldier, bye.